It's wild, right? It feels like AI has become this extension of our own minds. I mean, it drafts our emails, it writes our code, it even helps us brainstorm our biggest ideas. It's an unbelievably powerful partner. But here's the thing, as we lean on this partner more and more, are we kind of letting our own mental muscles get, well, weak? What's the real cost of outsourcing our own thinking? And look, this isn't just some far-off theoretical cost. Entrepreneur Andrew Yang puts it in really stark terms. He's basically saying that for millions of us who sit at a desk all day, AI could mean holding a pink slip, and soon. But beyond the paycheck, there's something else at stake, something quieter and way more personal.
Yeah, the threat isn't just about losing our jobs, it's about losing the very ability to do them. It's like this silent takeover, and the battlefield isn't the stock market, it's right between our ears. We're not just at risk of losing our jobs, but a core part of how we actually think.
So, what do we call this? There's a name for it: cognitive atrophy. Think about it like a muscle, right? If you stop using it, it gets weaker. It's the exact same thing with our brains. Our ability to think critically, to solve problems creatively. If we keep outsourcing that stuff to an algorithm, those skills start to fade. It's like always taking the elevator instead of the stairs. And if you think this is some sci-fi future problem, think again. It is already happening. So get this. Police in the UK used Microsoft Copilot to whip up a risk report for a soccer match. Simple enough, except the AI just made up a fictional match out of thin air. It hallucinated a whole event to justify its analysis. The results? A completely flawed security plan, and the police chief had to resign. That is a huge, real-world consequence from just trusting the AI a little too much.
Okay, let's bring this home for a second. Be honest. Have you ever hit a tough problem, and before you even try to think it through for, say, 60 seconds, your hand is already reaching for an AI? If that sounds familiar, well, experts say that's a red flag. It shows we have a super low frustration threshold, which is one of the very first signs of this cognitive atrophy setting in. So how do we fight back? It's not just about thinking harder. We need to go deeper. I mean, if AI can handle the what, the task itself, then our real superpower, what makes us human, is the why. We've got to look under the hood at our own motivation engine.
All right, so psychologists have a really simple way of breaking this down. There are basically two types of motivation. First, you've got intrinsic motivation. This is your internal fire, right? You do something just because you love it, because it's interesting or fun. The reward is the activity. Then there's extrinsic motivation. This is when you do something for an external prize. Money, a good grade, praise. It's the difference between, say, playing a game for the sheer joy of it versus playing it to win a competition. And here's the thing. This balance between the two isn't fixed. It changes throughout our lives. Research shows that depending on where you are in your career, your drivers can shift. For example, millennials might be really focused on financial security as they're, getting married or having kids. Meanwhile, other generations might be more driven by things like competition. And understanding what's driving your engine is so important because, as we're about to see, external forces, especially something as powerful as AI, can really mess with that internal balance. Okay, now this is where things get really interesting and kind of backwards from what you'd expect. So think about it. If you love doing something, like a hobby, and someone offers to pay you for it, that should just double your motivation, right? You get to do what you love and get paid. But the science actually shows the complete opposite can happen. Sometimes rewards totally backfire. This phenomenon has a name. It's called the over-justification effect. Basically, when you start getting an external reward for something you used to do just for fun, your brain kind of rewires its reasoning. It goes from, hey, I'm doing this because I love it, to, okay, I'm doing this to get that reward. That external prize can literally crowd out and even kill the joy you originally had. There's this classic experiment that just shows this perfectly. Researchers gave people this super simple but kind of fun little task. They had to try and stop a stopwatch at exactly 5.00 seconds. It's the kind of silly little game you might play on your phone just for the challenge of it. So they split everyone into two groups. One group just played for fun. The other group got paid based on how well they did. Now here's the kicker. During a break, when everyone was just left to their own devices, the group that wasn't getting paid, they kept playing the game. They were just intrinsically motivated. But the group that was getting paid, the second the money was off the table, they completely lost interest. Poof, gone. The external reward had totally snuffed out their internal drive. Okay, so here's how we connect this all back to AI.
AI offers us this constant, easy, extrinsic reward for pretty much any mental task: speed, efficiency, a perfectly finished product. It's the ultimate shortcut. And if we're not careful, it can create a massive overjustification effect for the act of thinking itself. Our brains start to prefer the easy reward from the AI over the harder, but more satisfying, internal reward of solving a problem ourselves. So the big question is, how do we protect that powerful, but kind of fragile internal drive? Well, lucky for us, there's a playbook for that.
We've got 4 really solid strategies here from expert Noelle Carroll. First up is the 30-minute rule. Before you even think about asking an AI, force yourself to actually wrestle with a problem for at least half an hour. This is like weight training for your brain's frustration tolerance. Second, be skeptical of everything. Don't just take what it gives you as gospel. Third, and this is a big one, create a no AI zone. Pick a core task that you genuinely love. Maybe it's brainstorming or writing first drafts, and make it a protected space. No algorithms allowed. And finally, number 4, audit your AI habits. Really take a hard look at how you're using it.
Let's double-click on that second point for a second, being skeptical. This quote just nails it. If you treat AI like a colleague who's, absolutely brilliant, but also kind of flaky and sometimes just makes stuff up, well, you're not just going to copy-paste their work, are you? No. You're forced to engage, to check their facts, to refine their ideas. Your brain instantly shifts from being a passive consumer to an active editor. You're actually sharpening your critical thinking, not handing it over.
And that brings us right back to that last strategy, the audit. You have to ask yourself this really tough, honest question. Is using this tool actually making you better, or is it just a crutch that lets you avoid the hard work of thinking? I mean, if you're just offloading skills without learning anything new in the process, then yeah, the algorithm is kind of winning.
So, what's the big takeaway from all of this? It's actually pretty simple. The real fight in this age of AI isn't about us versus the machines. It's about protecting the very things that make us human in the first place. That means we have to purposefully make things a little harder for ourselves sometimes. We need to embrace that struggle that comes with real thinking and fiercely protect that internal fire that makes us want to create and discover and learn for the pure joy of it. So, I'm going to leave you with a final thought to chew on. As these machines get scarily good at giving us all the answers, it forces us to ask a really deep question about ourselves. When machines can think, what's the real point, the true value of human thought?